The world is changing as you breathe without realizing it. Every step you take feels safe, but deep inside, something threatens to destabilize everything you've built. Every decision carries an invisible weight. Every missed choice echoes with consequences you can't even imagine. It's like walking on thin ice. The surface seems firm, but at any moment it can give way, and what seemed stable crumbles before your eyes. Your mind struggles to control, repeating old formulas that never worked, while your body responds with tension, anxiety, and silent signals you ignore. Every shallow or strained breath transmits noise. Every forced thought creates friction. What if all this struggle were reversed? What if the secret wasn't in trying harder, but in noticing the pattern that has always gone unnoticed? There's an invisible thread connecting every moment of your day. Ignoring it means remaining trapped in energy-draining cycles, but capturing it can transform confusion into clarity, anxiety into direction, chaos into a signal. You feel it without realizing it, like an undercurrent running through your daily life, whispering that something greater awaits. Are you ready to see what has gone unnoticed until now? To perceive the silent impact of every movement, every choice, and discover that the balance you seek is not outside, but within, waiting to be tuned? The constant tension, the feeling of always chasing something unattainable, everything is a warning, and also an opportunity in disguise. What if there were an almost imperceptible shift capable of reorganizing every action, every decision, simply by connecting with a point you've always ignored? Imagine transforming every wasted moment into a clear sign of direction, every effort into a natural flow of results you've never achieved. Every ignored moment carries the risk of maintaining invisible chaos, but also holds the key to a silent, profound, and immediate change. What if you realized that the path to regaining control, clarity, and alignment begins with something so simple, so close, so ignored that you've never paid attention? An instant, brief, almost imperceptible, can be the door that connects who you are to what you can truly create. Can you feel that thread? It already runs through your body, every beat, every sigh, waiting to be recognized, ready to transform noise into signal, tension into harmony, uncertainty into clear perception. Each breath carries more than air. It carries invisible signals that shape every choice, every reaction, every possibility around you. You walk among people, places, decisions, and even when everything seems normal, there's a silent pattern that determines how life responds to you. Imagine yourself in a silent room, where every object vibrates with the energy you transmit, where even the light seems to pulse to the rhythm of your breathing. The body knows before the mind, it feels before it understands. And therein lies the contradiction. You try to control, plan, anticipate, but force doesn't create alignment, only tension. What isn't perceived repeats itself, and every attempt to force solutions merely echoes as noise, erasing subtle signals that could guide each step. The moment you ignore is more powerful than any conscious effort, because it connects body, mind, and environment to the same frequency. Visualize now. Each heartbeat generates waves that spread silently, influencing conversations, decisions, and even the mood around you. A look, a word, a small gesture, everything reverberates more intensely when there's coherence between what you feel and what you breathe. That's why so many people choose to stay here, following each revelation, even without knowing exactly what they'll find. There's something almost imperceptible, a bridge between tension and fluidity, which, when captured, changes the perception of everyday life. But this bridge isn't visible, it can't be bought or imposed, it needs to be recognized, felt. And it's at this point that many stop, caught up in the effort, unaware that true movement lies in the silence you almost ignore. What would happen if you could perceive this subtle thread before it's lost, aligning each breath with the intention you can't yet verbalize? The answer lies not in the mind that seeks external solutions, but in the presence that perceives, feels, and transforms what once seemed random into clear harmony. Each passing moment is an opportunity to recognize this rhythm, to feel the field you effortlessly influence. And when you begin to feel, you'll realize there's something beyond, something that connects each small gesture to larger results, a silent sequence waiting to be discovered, ready to reveal the next layer of understanding that will change the way you perceive each moment. As you feel the invisible weight on your shoulders, there's something deeper than simple fatigue or worry. Every decision left unmade, every opportunity missed, leaves subtle traces that accumulate, almost imperceptible but persistent. It's like walking down a corridor steeped in shadows, where each step echoes with memories of choices that didn't align, while the light seems distant, cold, and unreachable. Your heart races, your mind whirls, And even when everything seems under control, there's a hidden tension, a feeling that something essential is slipping away, that the world isn't responding as it should. That moment you ignored yesterday reverberates today. The word unsaid, the gesture unfulfilled, the silence maintained, all leave marks that weave themselves into the fabric of everyday life. Imagine yourself inside a room where the air is thick, charged with unmet expectations, where each breath seems insufficient to dissipate the pressure. And yet, there's a thin thread of hope, a faint light that pulses, inviting you to notice what goes unnoticed, to listen to what your body and environment are already trying to reveal. Every instant of resistance, every attempt to force results, creates layers of friction, tiny fissures that widen without you realizing it. What if balance weren't outside, but hidden in something you've never paid attention to, so close it's almost imperceptible? The contrast becomes clear. The fear of losing more than you realize, and the possibility of aligning everything in an instant that requires only presence. The shadows deepen, but the light also exists, waiting to be recognized. You feel it in your chest, in the rhythm of your body, in the way your eyes perceive the world. Something is about to be revealed, but the key to open the door that connects tension and clarity, effort and fluidity, is still missing. And even now, as you perceive each fragment, there is still something greater approaching, something that changes your entire perception, a secret that does not fully reveal itself, but that you begin to feel pulsing, ready to transform each silent step into harmony with what truly matters. And as you discern these layers, something surprising emerges. Not everything that weighs you down is visible, not every frustration screams loudly. Some losses, small and silent, accumulate without you noticing, like drops slowly running down a wall, leaving imperceptible traces but leaving the structure worn. Imagine walking down an empty street at night, where every shadow seems to move of its own accord, and even without real danger, your body reacts, alert, tense, consumed by a sense of alert you didn't even know existed. But at the same time, if you allow just a moment to pause, notice the rhythm of your breathing, feel the pulse in your hands, notice the warmth of the air in your lungs, something changes. Perception expands. And then you realize there's another way of seeing. What once seemed like a threat now emerges as an opportunity, a chance to reorganize what was scattered, to hear what has always been trying to communicate subtly. It's at this point that many feel the urge to support this journey, leaving a silent signal that the message has touched them, that they've recognized something that was hidden. Every gesture, every unspoken word, every tension you hold begins to take on meaning when viewed from this new perspective. You see yourself from a different angle, as if inside a mirror that doesn't distort, but reveals connections and patterns that previously went unnoticed. And yet, there's more to come, a layer that can't yet be fully named, but that pulses with an almost imperceptible force, suggesting that what you feel now is just the beginning of a deeper perception, capable of transforming every moment, every choice, into something aligned with what truly matters, a silent movement that you begin to feel growing within you, and that will unfold in the next steps of this journey. And as you immerse yourself in this flow, you realize there's more than meets the eye. Every hesitation, every shallow breath, every restrained gesture carries ancient stories, echoes of fears never named. It's like being in a dense forest, where the light barely touches the ground and every shadow seems to hide something you fear discovering. And yet, between these shadows, small slivers of sunlight break through, illuminating leaves, trunks, details that go unnoticed when haste takes over. The contrast is stark, the fear that paralyzes and the possibility that awakens, the silence that weighs on and the revelation that insinuates itself. You feel the tension in your chest, but you also notice the space that opens when you simply observe, when you allow yourself to perceive what's happening without trying to control it. Every detail around you, every tiny movement of your body or the environment, begins to speak a language you'd previously ignored, and suddenly you understand that the chaos that seemed absolute is actually a pattern waiting to be recognized. Imagine yourself walking through this forest, feeling the firm ground beneath your feet, but at the same time attentive to the whispers of the wind in the trees, the unexpected brightness between the leaves, realizing that each step can be light or heavy, depending on how you approach it. It is in this balance between tension and perception that something new emerges, something that reveals itself not with effort, but with presence, with silent attention. And even as you begin to notice these signs, you sense there is more to discover, layers that have not yet appeared, but that vibrate nearby, ready to reveal themselves, waiting only for you to remain attentive, ready to perceive the next change that can transform the way each moment is felt and experienced. And as you feel every detail, you realize that tension isn't just in the mind or body. It infiltrates every aspect of life, in the small gestures, the pauses between words, the glances we exchange with the world. It's like crossing a valley between two mountains. On one side, the heavy shadow of everything that could go wrong, the uncertainty that silently corrodes. On the other, the faint light of possibilities that haven't yet manifested but already pulse with enough force to guide each step. Each shallow breath increases the weight of fear, each instant of attention ignites the flame of perception, and you feel that everything around you is connected by invisible threads that have never been revealed. Imagine sitting by a calm lake, watching the surface stirred by the wind, each small wave reflecting both tension and calm. It is there that duality reveals itself. The same water that frightens with its movement also reflects the clearer sky, and you understand that there is no separation between fear and hope, only different faces of the same moment. Your heart beats fast, but if you just listen, you perceive the music hidden in the rhythm, a cadence that indicates that every gesture, every choice, every sensation has its place, even when it seems lost. The wind passes, and you feel the chill of uncertainty on your face, but also the subtle warmth of something awakening within you, something you've long awaited to be perceived. And as all this pulsates, a sensation of suspension takes over, as if the entire world were contained in the pause between two breaths, in the space where tension and clarity coexist, where each second has the potential to reveal something you don't yet fully understand. You feel this silent, almost tangible presence, touching the surface of everything you think you know, promising that the deepest revelation is yet to come, and that the next movement, not yet visible, will carry with it the weight and light you've only felt until now. And as you begin to perceive these subtle patterns, you notice that every action, every choice, every small gesture creates ripples that spread far beyond the instant they occur. It's like throwing a stone into a calm lake. The impact seems small on the surface, but the energy travels throughout the water, touching shores you never even imagined. What you do now, even if it seems insignificant, resonates in the environment around you, influencing people, decisions, and opportunities that haven't yet arrived. Imagine sitting in a silent room, observing the energy released by each word, each breath, each movement. You feel the weight of the potential and the responsibility of each moment. Tension builds as you realize that ignoring this flow means keeping everything stagnant, while acting with conscious attention can open previously invisible pathways, create unexpected connections, and transform your perception of what's possible. The contrast becomes stark. Repetitive effort without alignment generates noise, while subtle gestures, charged with presence, generate real impact. And even without fully realizing it, you begin to notice responses, small shifts that indicate something larger is adjusting, aligning. The air around you feels different, as if each conscious breath has left an invisible code, influencing results, awakening signals the mind hasn't yet decoded. It's at this point that many feel the urge to record something, to leave a word, a reflection, as if a silent mark that they've grasped the subtlety of the process. You sense that each decision, each pause, each movement carries more weight than you imagined, and that the sequence unfolding can completely transform the landscape around you. And even now, as you watch these ripples expand, you sense something even deeper is coming, a layer of awareness you haven't yet reached, ready to reveal connections that can redefine not only what you do, but how each gesture is felt and recognized, creating space for results that previously seemed impossible. And as these ripples of impact expand, you realize that each gesture, each decision, each dedicated attention creates invisible ramifications that touch dimensions that once seemed distant. It's like walking through a foggy field. Each step illuminates only a small strip ahead, but that strip reveals patterns, colors, and textures that the common eye would never notice. You feel the tension of unmade choices and the lightness of those moments when you allow yourself to perceive, when each conscious breath aligns intention and action. The contrast intensifies. The fear of error still pulsates, but at the same time, a clarity emerges that previously seemed impossible, revealing paths that anxiety always obscured. Imagine yourself now on a narrow bridge over a deep river, where the current threatens to sweep away any imbalance, but the firm ground beneath your feet responds to the attention you place on each step. Each movement becomes decisive, each moment counts, and you feel the potential to transform what was once a risk into an opportunity. The wind blows, carrying tiny particles of perception, and you realize that reality responds not only to visible effort, but to the subtlety you exert without realizing it. A carefully chosen word, a silence maintained at the right time, a gesture that seems small but resonates beyond what the mind can follow. It is in this balance between control and surrender, between tension and presence, that something new emerges, a frequency that connects intention and outcome, that shifts the field of possibilities in an almost imperceptible yet definitive way. And even as you feel these waves, there remains a larger layer, a dimension that escapes direct perception, ready to reveal itself in the next instant. A silent sequence that promises to expand everything you thought you knew about cause, effect, and influence, leaving you with a sense that complete transformation is yet to unfold. And as you observe the ramifications of each gesture, you realize that it's not just an immediate effect, but intertwining layers, invisible to the eye but intensely felt by the body and the environment. It's like walking through a hall of mirrors. Each movement creates multiplying reflections, some clear and illuminated, others distorted, shadows that reveal ancient fears, forgotten expectations, and dormant potential. Each breath now seems to carry weight and lightness at the same time, a subtle dance between the tension that keeps you alert and the fluidity that opens paths. You feel that every word spoken or omitted, every gesture, conscious or automatic, reverberates beyond the instant in which it occurs, touching people, decisions, and opportunities in ways you can't yet measure. Imagine yourself in a vast field, covered in fine mist, where sunlight touches only parts of the terrain, highlighting obstacles and clearings that appear and disappear as you walk. It is in this space that uncertainty and perception, doubt and clarity, fear and hope alternate, and you feel the effect of each choice with a surprising intensity. Your heart beats at its own rhythm, but it seems to synchronize with something greater, something vibrating silently around you, as if the entire environment responded to the internal alignment you are still learning to perceive. Each unnoticed moment that now receives attention seems to take on a life of its own, revealing consequences that were previously invisible, revealing patterns and connections that transform small actions into broad and profound impacts. And even as this awareness expands, a sense of suspension remains, as if each discovery merely opens the door to another, even greater, even more complex, ready to manifest in the next moment, leaving you certain that what you feel now is only the surface of something much deeper, a sequence of perceptions that continue to reveal themselves, silently, insistently, transformative. And now, after traversing each layer, each breath, and each silent perception, you feel something different within yourself. It's like reaching the top of a mountain after a long hike, where the air is purer, the view wider, and each effort reveals the beauty that was hidden along the way. What once seemed heavy, confusing, laden with uncertainty, now reveals itself full of meaning, like a secret map finally unfolding before you. You realize that each small gesture, each moment of attention, each pause to observe your own inner rhythm, has created ripples of transformation that spread beyond what you could have imagined. Imagine yourself walking through a field illuminated by the setting sun, where every ancient shadow dissolves and every detail that previously went unnoticed shines with clarity. You feel the impact of each choice, of each moment lived with presence, and understand that the journey has brought something greater than any immediate result. It is in this space that a sense of privilege arises, to be attentive, to perceive, to silently transform what once seemed invisible. The wind blows, carrying echoes of opportunities and potential that only those who remain attentive can feel, and in that instant, you recognize that you not only observed, but participated in something profound, intimate, that harmoniously connects intention, action, and consequence. And that's why presence matters, why every gesture of awareness is valuable, and why every reflection, every moment of pause, becomes a bridge to the clarity you've always sought. If you feel this way, leave a mark on your perception. Comment on what this experience brought, share what it awakened in you, sign up to follow the continuation of this silent journey, for each step you take here opens new doors. And in the end, as you observe the light gently touching every detail around you, you feel that something within you has changed, something that remains even after the silence returns, a silent certainty that mindfulness, deep perception, and transformative consciousness are now part of who you are, and that the path ahead holds even more discoveries, waiting to be perceived, experienced, and celebrated.